Hello and welcome to my presentation on qualitative versus quantitative data. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is research philosophy. So this is effectively a concept about the set of beliefs, assumptions and principles a researcher uses to approach a study. There's two types I'm going to cover here, positivism and interpretivism. Positivism is usually numerical, it's measurable scientific data where knowledge can be obtained through objective observations and measurements. Usually this is used in quantitative data collection and used in projects where numerical data is the only real type required. So if we're not looking to go into too much detail and we only really require the stats and figures, positivism is the philosophy we'll be using. The other type we've got here is interpretivism. This is typically assigned to studies where meanings and experiences are more important than the statistics. Typical of qualitative methodology. So if you're looking for subjective experience, some reasoning behind your research, then you're gonna go with the interpretivism philosophy, which allows you to cover the topic in more detail. So, moving on to research methodology. This is effectively how a researcher uses a strategy to obtain effective research that meets the researcher's goals. So when they're looking at the research project as a whole, the researcher will decide which methods to use, how to use them, and how much data is required. So we've got our different types of data here. Quantitative data, we've already briefly covered this. Numerical data that can be formally measured. Some benefits of this: it is not subjective, it gives a definitive answer, and it gives an easy opportunity to analyze large data sets and create statistics without it being too time consuming. A couple drawbacks: it cannot articulate the actual human experiences, so can provide a limited picture of the research. Now, if we're looking for detailed research method, then quantitative data can be restrictive, but it is a quick way to get a lot of data together, and it's very clear and easy to analyze. The other type we've got here is qualitative data. So this is type of data collected in non-numerical forms such as surveys, interviews, or images sometimes. Benefits: it is rich in detail and gives an opportunity to speak to select groups of people. So if we're on a research project and we need some creative answers, then this is the perfect data method for us to use. It can be time consuming to produce though, and it's not objective, so instead of getting a definitive numerical answer, you might get a longer answer which can be time consuming to analyze. So taking these methods into real life examples. So if a study was undertaken to understand the correlation between body fat percentage and 100-meter sprint times, which data method would be used? It would be quantitative data, because the reasoning and personal experiences here are not important, as the only goal of this research is finding the link between body fat and speed. We don't need explanations for this, so it wouldn't make sense to conduct interviews or to conduct surveys. All we need is a table with numerical data, so quantitative data would be the choice here. Second example we've got is a study questioning the issue of racism in football. This is a more subjective topic and it would require a qualitative approach. We'd like some detailed responses here as we're trying to get some opinions and gain the knowledge of people's different experiences in football, suffering with racist abuse. An interview would probably be my choice here, as it allows personal experiences to be shared. Thank you for listening to my presentation. We've just run out of time.